Maya and Lucas met on a sunny morning in Central Park, where laughter filled the air. Maya was bright and cheerful, with a generous heart. She loved reading books about adventure, her smile lighting up the world around her. Lucas, tall and friendly, had a quiet sense of humor that made people feel at ease. He was passionate about photography, always looking for beauty in his surroundings. Their connection sparked from the first moment. They both shared a love for the outdoors, and their walks in the park quickly became filled with deep conversations and laughter. As they spent more time together, their bond grew stronger. Maya admired how Lucas saw the world through his lens, capturing special moments in a unique way. Lucas found comfort in Maya's kindness, enjoying her imaginative stories that transported him to different worlds. Together, they built a cozy emotional foundation filled with support and understanding. Lucas would often encourage Maya to share her dreams aloud, while she helped him see his worth as more than just a photographer. However, life brings challenges no matter how bright the beginning seems. As their relationship blossomed, they began to notice small cracks in their emotional strengths. Maya often worried about making Lucas happy and found herself hiding her true feelings. Maybe she feared that being open could change how he saw her. On the other hand, Lucas struggled to express his emotions, believing that he needed to be strong all the time. These feelings created a delicate balance that both made them closer and threatened to draw them apart. Little did they know that these challenges would test their love, but could also bring them closer together. As time went by, the warmth in Maya and Lucas's relationship slowly began to shift. One evening, after a long week, Maya felt a weight in her heart. She noticed Lucas seemed distant during dinner, his eyes searching the space around them rather than looking at her. Instead of speaking, he focused on his phone, scrolling through photos he had taken of other people, lost in thoughts that did not include her. This small change frightened Maya. She felt a growing sense of loneliness, realizing that something was amiss. To her, the signs were clear. Lucas's laugh no longer echoed through their small apartment, and she missed the way he would often reach across the table to hold her hand. She felt that they were speaking the same words but were living in different worlds. Trying to shake off the feeling, Maya decided to talk to him completely. "Lucas, are you okay?" she asked one evening, her voice soft but full of concern. Lucas looked up, surprised. "Yeah, I'm fine," he replied. His tone was clipped, and that further sank Maya's worries. She could feel her heart racing. Why wouldn't he open up? Did he not see how disconnected they had become? As days turned into weeks, Maya made several attempts to talk about her feelings. In one conversation, she opened up about their time apart. "I miss our talks, our connection," she said, hoping to encourage him to share his thoughts. But Lucas replied, "I don't think it is that big of a deal." His eyes returned to his phone, and Maya felt her heart drop. Maya wasn't sure how much more she could take. Each time Lucas dismissed her feelings with simple words, the emotional gap between them grew deeper. She tried to understand what was affecting Lucas, sensing he wrestled with something unseen. Yet, each time she reached for him, she felt like she was walking on thin ice. The warmth she once felt was now tinged with cold uncertainty. Frustrated, Maya turned to her journal. Writing helped her sort through her feelings. In her entries, Maya expressed her worries, emotions flowing out onto the pages. But feelings of self-doubt crept in alongside her entries. Was it her fault for not doing enough? Did she think too deeply about their relationship? She longed for reassurance but felt confused. Why was Lucas pulling away? Meanwhile, Lucas struggled quietly within himself. He noticed Maya's changing moods, but fear held him back from sharing his thoughts. He worried that if he opened up, he would overwhelm her with his problems. He thought of himself as the strong one, the rock of their relationship. But instead, his silence was like a wall, further pushing Maya away. He began to question if his uncertainty was a barrier or if it revealed their inability to communicate. As days bridged into weeks, the tension rose when they were together. Maya felt frustrated, like sitting in a heavy cloud, while Lucas felt lost, trapped by his own fears. They loved each other, but without clear understanding and open communication, the gap between them widened. Each day was more challenging than the last, full of unspoken words and hidden emotions. One rainy afternoon, while browsing social media, Maya stumbled upon a post that made her heart race with unease. It was a picture of Lucas's coworker, a bright smile on her face, standing beside him at a recent work event. She looked happy and comfortable, and the way Lucas talked to her made Maya's stomach churn. Suddenly, the familiar cloud of jealousy settled over her, tightening around her heart as old fears crept in. Was Lucas getting too close to someone else? Did he find someone more interesting than her? Maya heard her own mind racing with thoughts of insecurity, echoing the past when trust had been broken in previous relationships. She remembered the heartache of feeling unworthy and feared history might repeat itself. Instead of confronting Lucas directly, she decided to hide her feelings, thinking it was better to avoid confrontation. That evening, when Lucas returned home, he could sense the tension in the air. Maya sat on the couch, her eyes glued to the screen of her phone. She tried to appear engaged but was lost in her racing thoughts. Lucas felt a wave of confusion wash over him. "You okay?" he asked, and Maya merely nodded without looking away. Her silence spoke louder than any words, revealing a town of worries hidden beneath the surface. Without knowing the source of Maya's turmoil, Lucas felt a layer of frustration build up inside him. He often believed that opening up was the solution to their growing struggles, but now, the uncertainty felt even heavier. "It seems like you're mad at me for something," he said softly, breaking the silence. Instead of responding directly, Maya sighed, "I'm fine," but her mind was miles away. Lucas raised an eyebrow, grappling with the desire to comfort her in his own resilience against conflict. That night, when they went to bed, Maya lay next to him, refusing to let herself drift off. For so long, she practiced suppressing her feelings, but Lucas's close bond with his coworker changed everything. Instead of voicing her fears, she chose to withdraw, letting darkness slowly seep back into her heart. In the days that followed, both Maya and Lucas felt more tension build. Lucas, already burdened by his own unprocessed feelings, became more withdrawn, believing he needed to give Maya space. He thought that stepping back might help her feel better, but it only amplified her feelings of loneliness. The emotional separation seemed endless. Each time they crossed paths in their apartment, their eyes briefly met but quickly glanced away, sealing off any chance for connection. As they individually fought their internal battles, small wins seemed almost out of reach. Lastly, the tension finally reached a boiling point one evening when Lucas mentioned a new work project during dinner. "I'm excited, it's with Jordan, as you saw," he replied, smiling. Upon hearing her name, Maya felt a familiar sting in her heart. She swallowed hard, clenching her fists beneath the table. Suddenly, in a burst of energy, she snapped, "Why do you spend so much time with her?" The question shocked Lucas. "What?" "She's just a coworker," he exclaimed, feeling a wave of frustration wash over him. "Why are you jealous? I thought we were past this." Maya's tears threatened to spill as she now felt seen in her insecurity. The raw emotions hung thick in the air. "I just don't want to lose you," she cried out, placing her hand over her mouth, fearing she let her feelings spill out too loudly. For a moment, the silence that followed was deafening. Realizing how far apart they had drifted, both partners knew that fighting this battle alone would only lead to more strained silence. They felt the reality of the walls they had allowed to build between them and understood they needed to confront the unresolved emotions hidden beneath the surface. The tension was still thick, but the spark for better communication ignited, allowing small wins to awaken their dormant hopes for reconnection. That weekend, the storm outside mirrored the turmoil brewing within Maya and Lucas's relationship. Rain poured heavily against the windows as they sat in the living room, tension thick and almost suffocating. They had avoided discussing their feelings for days, but pent-up emotions hung in the air like a dark cloud. It was time to speak, yet fear kept them from saying what needed to be said. Maya finally broke the silence, her voice quivering slightly. "I don't think you understand how I feel," she said, looking directly at Lucas. "You keep talking about that project at work, and all I see is you getting closer to someone else." Lucas set his jaw, feeling a rush of heat rise to his cheeks. "It's not about her, Maya. You really don't think I would do that to you, do you?" His tone became sharper, cutting through the quiet of the room. Why can't you trust me? Trust? It's hard to trust someone who won't talk to me. The frustration in Maya's voice spilled out. Both had been bottling up too many feelings, and now they surged forth like water breaking through a dam. Why does everything have to be about you? You think keeping your feelings inside will help me? Lucas's eyes widened. You have no idea what it's like for me. You expect me to be your rock when I can't even figure myself out. Maybe it's better for us if I just focus on work. His voice cracked, and the pain of his words hung in the air like sharp glass. Maya's heart sank. She could see the hurt flash in his eyes, but anger thrust her on. So that's it then? You think hiding away will fix things? You can't just ignore how I feel and act like everything is fine, she shot back. Maybe people wouldn't feel ignored if they stopped overreacting. Lucas responded, fueled by his own rising emotions. They both felt helpless inside their growing storm, words quickly turning into weapons. I'm overreacting? You're the one who can't open up. Maya yelled, rising from the couch with tears welling in her eyes. Each accusation sliced through the space between them. Or maybe I need to find someone else who will listen. Someone who cares. The moment those words slipped from her lips, they hung heavy and bitter between them. Lucas felt like he had been punched in the gut. Could she actually mean that? It cut deeper than he expected. Is that what you want? To leave because I'm struggling? Maybe you don't care as much as you say, he replied, his voice laced with a mix of pain and hurt. Maya felt regret immediately wash over her, but pride held her back. I didn't mean it like that. It's just, everything feels so hard. Her heart raced as raw emotions fought within her. They stood on opposing sides of an emotional chasm, words almost breaking their connection for good. Lucas lowered his head in disbelief, catching his breath amid rising sorrow. You say you're all in this with me, but right now, I feel like I'm fighting this battle alone. His voice was tempered with sullen vulnerability. Maya felt the chill of truth in his words sink in. Neither partner could see a way back to warmth. The atmosphere filled with unrelenting waves of unresolved sadness, anger, and confusion. They knew the intensity of their emotions had reached a climax, but now they faced an unknown abyss that threatened to pull them into depths neither had anticipated. That night, after the argument, Maya tossed and turned in bed, unable to find peace. The thunder outside mirrored her tumultuous thoughts. She slid out from under the covers and grabbed her journal, wanting to pour her heart onto the pages. With a heavy sigh, she opened to a fresh sheet, pausing as the silence filled the room. What could she write? As her pen touched the paper, Maya began to scribble about her feelings. Why can't I just trust him, she wrote. Why do I feel so alone in this relationship? The more she wrote, the clearer her chaos became. She admitted to herself that fear had driven part of her actions. The thought of losing Lucas gripped her heart. They had shared so much joy and laughter, but now all she could feel was uncertainty. Maya thought back over the weeks. She often shied away from bringing up issues, worried they would upset Lucas. But in doing so, she realized she had buried her own needs. What if I keep doing this and it pushes him away? Her hand trembled as she wrote, reminding herself that no relationship is without struggles. She needed honesty, not just for herself but also for Lucas. Meanwhile, in the quiet of his own room, Lucas sat on the edge of his bed, his face buried in his hands. He replayed their argument over and over in his mind. Each word echoed back, sharper than before. He felt anger, but deep down, sadness also swelled. Did he truly deserve Maya's love if he kept hiding? Maybe I can't keep pretending I'm fine, he thought. I've got to change. Lucas reached out to a close friend, Carlos, who listened patiently as Lucas unraveled his thoughts. I think I'm losing her, Lucas admitted, his voice breaking slightly. I never wanted to hurt her. I just thought it was best to keep things to myself. Carlos offered simple wisdom: you both need to communicate. If you don't share your thoughts, she'll never truly know how you feel. Lucas felt a spark of realization at the simplicity of his friend's words, but a wave of weightiness pressed down on him. What if he didn't change? What if he kept losing her? Torn between frustration and clarity, Lucas took out a piece of paper, and like Maya, began writing. "I love Maya, but I don't show it," he wrote. He recognized that he hadn't opened up about his own fears. He remembered the times he tried to be a rock, but instead, he built a wall. As he thought of Maya's pain, a fresh wave of guilt washed over him. Their love was worth fighting for, but if he continued to hide behind silence, he would push her away. This can't be the end, he reined in his thoughts. We need to talk. I have to be honest, no matter how hard it feels. In their separate spaces, both Maya and Lucas had moments of profound realization. Each understood they had to confront their fears, not just for their own sake but for each other. If they did not work through their issues, they might not just grow apart, they might lose everything that once brought them together. They were at pivotal moments, aware of the stakes at hand. As the storm outside calmed to a gentle rain, hope flickered in their hearts. They each felt a growing understanding that the road ahead would take courage, but also the realization that love was worth that courage, no matter the outcome. The morning after the storm settled in their hearts, Maya awoke feeling surprisingly calm. She remembered the long night of reflection and knew that something had to change. Lying in bed, she thought deeply about her struggles and fears. Instead of waiting, she felt ready to take a step forward. No more hiding behind silence. Her heart whispered that honesty was necessary for healing their connection. With a deep breath, she got out of bed and prepared breakfast for both of them, hoping that a simple act of kindness might open the door to a conversation. As the aroma of coffee filled the apartment, she heard Lucas moving around in his room. This felt like a precious chance, a way to begin repairing what had been broken. When Lucas entered the kitchen, he appeared tired yet hopeful. Seeing the breakfast spread out on the table brought a warmth to his heart. After a heavy silence, he finally sat down, but the weight of their last conversation still sat like a rock between them. Looking across the table, Maya knew that the time had come. With a shaky voice, she broke the silence. "Lucas, I need to apologize for what I said. I was scared, and I let my fear guide my words. I didn't mean it." Lucas looked at her for a moment, feeling a swell of feelings battling inside him. "I'm sorry, too," he admitted, pushing back a wave of emotions. "I didn't mean to make you feel alone. I thought keeping my feelings hidden was better for us. But all it did was push you away." In that moment, they both began to realize how miscommunication had built up walls around their hearts. The conversation turned into small steps towards change. They talked about how they could communicate better, delving into their feelings more openly. Maya suggested, maybe we could set aside some time each week to check in. Just to talk about how we're feeling. Lucas nodded eagerly. "I like that idea. I think we could even write down our thoughts sometimes. It might help to have a clearer way to share." In those exchanges, they felt the distance between them beginning to shrink. The storm inside them was calming, giving way to hope and understanding. Once breakfast was finished, Lucas pulled out his phone. "I've been thinking, maybe we should look into couples therapy," he said, his tone earnest. "I think there's a lot we could learn from someone who knows about these things." The suggestion surprised Maya, bringing forth a wave of gratitude. "That sounds like a great idea," she replied, her heart beating fast. "I want us to build a stronger relationship. I want to fight for us." She could feel the promise behind those words, that she truly meant what she was saying. Just then, Maya suggested they each read a self-help book focused on relationships, sharing the lessons they learned together. "It could be fun to explore this journey alongside each other," she said with a light smile. Lucas smiled back, feeling the safe distance he had erected start to fade away. As they spoke, they became aware that their love was worth fighting for, already sparking small changes within them. No longer burdened by secrets or fear, they could now stand beside each other like a team committed to growth. Both could see glimmers of the future brightening before them. In that kitchen filled with warmth and hope, they pledged to rewrite the story of their love together, creating understanding where there had once been doubt. Over the next few weeks, Maya and Lucas focused on their journey to rekindle what had once been a vibrant connection. Each evening, they created a space to talk. It started awkwardly, where each word felt carefully chosen, as if they were learning to walk all over again. Lucas often found himself glancing down at his hands, unsure if his thoughts would come out right. Meanwhile, Maya practiced breathing deeply, reminding herself that sharing feelings was essential to their progress. During one of their evening talks, Lucas attempted to express something that had been weighing on him. "I tend to keep quiet about my work troubles," he admitted, feeling his heart race. "I guess I was trying to protect you from stress, but I now see that you want to support me." These honest words flowed from him fully, stirring a sense of progress inside. Maya smiled gently, sensing that her encouragement was paying off. "It's okay to share your worries with me, Lucas. It helps me feel needed," she joined in. "I want us to hold each other up, not hide away from what we're feeling." With each small exchange, the fog in their hearts began to lift while a new form of understanding took its place. However, it wasn't always easy. In one conversation, Maya felt nervous sharing about a past trauma that lingered in her heart, something she hadn't fully discussed yet. As she fumbled with her words, both fear and vulnerability rushed to the surface. "Whenever conflict arises, I get scared that it will end like my previous relationship," she confessed, holding back tears. The fear of disappointment shadowed her, and her voice quivered as she shared these deep emotions. Lucas noticed her unease and reached across the table gently. "I never want you to feel that way, Maya. We are not them, I promise," he reassured her, his own heart aching for her fears. He felt there was no cautioning his instinct to bring her comfort. Even in moments of tension, his instincts drove him to express his care. Yet, sometimes the approach went wrong. During a busy workweek, Maya planned a small dinner surprise for Lucas. Excitedly she set the table, lit candles, and cooked his favorite meal. However, when Lucas arrived home exhausted, he barely smiled. He sat down heavily and didn't notice her effort. "Can we just order in?" "I'm so tired," he said, his tone more fatigued than she had expected. Maya's heart dropped as she forced a smile onto her face. "I was hoping you could enjoy this." Seemingly trivial words now felt like a door closing. They had agreed to celebrate each other's efforts, but this felt like a stark reminder of the ups and downs of building change. She took a deep breath, feeling another wave of uncertainty wash over her. Lucas quickly noticed her expression changing. "Oh no, Maya. I appreciate you so much. I just had a rough day," he apologized, realizing the impact of his words. "I didn't mean to hurt your feelings." He reached for her hand across the table. "Can we still eat together? I want to enjoy anything you've made." "Really?" she asked, her heart beginning to lift. With time, they began to navigate these small moments, some heavy and some hopeful. They fought through uncomfortable feelings, breathing and learning together. While the journey was still uncertain at times, they could hold on to the promise of keeping their love alive through every valley and peak. Progress poured out of them, and both partners began to see that the path to becoming better towards one another was worth walking, one careful step at a time. One calm Saturday morning, Maya and Lucas planned a day hike in the nearby hills. Both felt eager to spend time together away from their usual routines and to rediscover the joy of being outside. As they packed their backpacks, the air between them felt lighter, filled with the chance for laughter and connection. While they hiked, the sun bathed the trail in warmth, and a gentle breeze played with Maya's hair. With every step, both felt excitement build until they reached a beautiful viewpoint overseeing the valley below. Maya stood in awe, taking in the breathtaking view, while Lucas took out his camera to capture the moment. "Wow, it's amazing up here," Maya said, feeling free of the heavy clouds that once shadowed her. Lucas nodded, snapping a photo with a smile. He turned to Maya, joy lighting up his eyes. "You know what? I used to think getting outside was just about exercise, but now it feels like a chance for us to connect in a deeper way." Maya smiled, appreciating the change in their perspective. "Exactly. Just like when we talked last week, it felt so good to finally share our thoughts." In that moment, standing together on the edge of the world, they recognized that they were discovering each other all over again. As they continued walking along the trail, the conversation flowed naturally, no longer burdened by old doubts. Lucas opened up about his dreams of starting his own photography business someday, something he had always been hesitant to mention before. "You know, I've thought about it, but I guess I was afraid of failing," he admitted, his voice steady yet soft. Maya listened intently. "I believe in you, Lucas. It's okay to chase your dreams, even if they feel a bit scary." She felt excitement for him, recognizing the confidence that slowly returned to their partnership. Their emotional safety had blossomed, allowing for more consistent, open discussions with each other. With each step, revelations emerged beautifully between them, weaving their connection tighter. Maya shared her passion for writing and admitted how it helped her process feelings that once overwhelmed her. "I want to turn my experiences into something positive," she said, looking directly into Lucas's eyes. "I'd love to collaborate on something together," he suggested, feeling a spark of inspiration. "Maybe a photo book showcasing both your stories and my pictures." Maya beamed at him, filled with delight. "That sounds wonderful. A project to share, that idea makes me feel closer to you." They imagined the book together, colors swirling in their minds as they dreamt up ways to combine their talents. As the afternoon waned and shadows stretched longer on the path, they found a quiet spot to rest. Lucas pulled out a couple of sandwiches he had packed, and they sat, enjoying the food and the moment. "You know," Lucas said, his voice thoughtful, "this feels like a new beginning for us." Maya agreed, resting her head against his shoulder. The comfort of their connection was now steady, no longer painful or strained, creating a haven where truths could be shared without fear. "I feel safe with you again. It's like we are finally on the same team," she whispered. Lucas smiled, his heart full. In that serene moment, they both realized that this was the key. It wasn't just about addressing past hurts but genuinely reconnecting and building something beautiful anew. Their challenges, now woven into the fabric of their love story, became life lessons, propelling them forward together toward a brighter future. As the leaves turned gold with the changing season, Maya and Lucas continued to blossom together, both individually and as a couple. Their new habits of honest communication and heartfelt gestures had woven them closer than ever. They approached life with a sense of shared purpose and understanding that had flowered out of their earlier struggles. One sunny weekend, Maya stood at her kitchen counter, busily preparing a small surprise for Lucas. Today marked their one-year anniversary, and she wanted to create something special to celebrate their journey. With colorful paper and craft supplies spread out all over, she began to craft a scrapbook of their shared memories from the past year. Pictures they had taken during hikes, snapshots from special dates, and snippets of moments filled with laughter all came together into a beautiful representation of the love they had cultivated. Meanwhile, Lucas decidedly reflected on his own growth. He had taken a big step toward his dream by finally setting up an online portfolio for his photography. As he logged into his computer that morning, the sense of pride washed over him. He could now confidently share his vision with the world. This bold move was met with eagerness from friends and family, who celebrated his progress. Even more importantly, Maya's belief in him had renewed his own faith in following his dreams. Later that evening, they came together at their cozy dinner table, adorned with a handful of candles flickering around a bouquet of fresh flowers Lucas had surprised Maya with earlier that week. The atmosphere felt warm and inviting. After sharing a lovely meal, it was time for Maya to present her heartfelt gift. "This is for you, Lucas," she said, her heart racing with excitement and anticipation as she handed him the scrapbook. As Lucas opened it, he was flooded with memories, photos of their many laughs, notes written on the side capturing jokes and memories only they shared. "Oh, Maya. This is incredible," he exclaimed, flipping through the pages. His heart swelled at each picture, each token of their journey together illuminated by her care and dedication. "This reminds me of everything we've shared and how far we've come." After flipping through the last few pages, Maya felt overwhelmed with affection. She took a deep breath, clasping his hands. "You know, I've learned that when we open our hearts, something beautiful can grow. And our love is worth nurturing, no matter the challenges." With newfound confidence, Lucas squeezed her hands back and shared, "I've realized dreams don't need to stay hidden. I want to chase mine, and I want us to chase them together." He met her gaze with promises evident in his eyes. "I want to support each other fully, whatever it takes." They both felt the electricity of ambition flow between them, knowing they were building a life not only out of love but of purposeful partnership. An idea took root in Maya's mind. Since we now have our individual goals, what do you think about collaborating again, like we talked about during that hike? We could do this photo book project to combine our dreams. Lucas nodded excitedly, his eyes sparkling. Yes. Let's do it. I can take the photos, and your words will breathe life into them. We will show our adventure together. In that moment, they realized this collaboration was not merely about completing a project but forming a symbol of how much they had evolved as a couple. They were now fully invested in each other's journeys, ready to face life's challenges hand in hand. As night fell and the candles flickered softly, they shared laughter and dreams, their hearts unwavered by the past. Instead, they found strength in their love, leaving them with a bright sense of hope for the future. Together, they would walk toward whatever awaited them.